Do you think the Switch is just for kart racing? Well, let's put that idea in the rearview mirror. Today, we're going to be taking a detour off the beaten track to explore the Switch's racing games that go beyond the usual kart races and free-to-play titles. Now, you might be surprised by the system's lineup with everything from sims to arcade races to hidden gems you probably don't know about. Now, if you've got a favourite racer on the Switch, drop a comment down below. Would love to hear your picks, and also don't forget to hit like if you find a new game to enjoy, and also share this video if you can. My name's Alex, this is SwitchCorner, and today I'll be guiding you through my top 25 Switch racers, covering what each game is about, what shines, what doesn't, key features, multiplayer options, and any known issues. If you do enjoy the video, then subscribing supports the channel a huge amount, and it helps us bring you more content just like this. Inertial Drift kicks us off with an arcade racing experience. It's all about the thrill of drifting. Set in a retro 90s world, the game boasts a stunning cel-shaded art style that sets it apart visually. With a roster of 16 cars and 20 tracks, variety definitely isn't lacking. The controls then truly shine here as well, a twin-stick drifting system that feels innovative and responsive. I'd actually love to see more games adopt this because it really is that impressive. The downside, the story is too friendly for its own good, lacking a competitive edge as opponents cheer you on even as you do pass them on the track. Plus, once I discovered all opponents are ghost cars, it definitely dialed down the skill factor. It supports them both local and online 2-player so that you can drift into the competition with a friend. Grip is a spiritual successor to Roll Cage. This one's for adrenaline junkies craving action that rivals a kart racer, complete with power-ups and an arsenal of weapons. Choose from 30 armoured cars, and thanks to a generous free update, you now have anti-grav vehicles too. The twist here, the tracks defy gravity, allowing you to race on walls and ceilings, leading to some mind-bending track designs. There's no shortage of content either, with 29 tracks set across 4 planets and a variety of modes like arena battles, time trials, team challenges, and also a full single-player campaign. The flip side, some track layouts can be too confusing, especially in handheld, where the resolution can be a strain, and I do think the single player gets a little dull. It supports then 2 players in local split screen and up to 10 racers online. Kart X Drift Racing shifts into gear for those who favour simulation racing. Right off the bat, a key challenge is the lack of analog triggers on the Switch, which means mastering acceleration and braking is going to take some practice. Also expect some performance hiccups, particularly in busier locations like the city tracks. But here's where it shines. The game boasts a garage of over 70 cars, and it's all about honing your driving skills, which requires both precision and practice. The variety of terrain adds to the challenge, and if customization is your thing, there are over 100 body kits and more than 1,000 parts to tweak your ride. While it's single player locally, online supports up to 16 players, and one of its standout options here is tandem drifting. Best of all, then, it supports crossplay, which means an active online community. WRC10 is an option for the rally fans on the Switch. Now, as a fan of rally titles myself, I usually don't turn to the Switch first for this genre. You know, like Kart X Drift Racing, the lack of analog triggers is a significant hurdle, but WRC10 offers a workaround by letting you map acceleration to the right stick, something I can't control personally, but it is nice to have the option. Now, I do think this is the best WRC on the system, significantly so in fact, since its successor trimmed down on modes and can be weak with performance. Plus, honestly, you're more likely to find WRC10 at a discounted price, so I do consider that a bonus. Now, content-wise, it is packed and expansive career mode, top-notch physics, 52 teams, legendary cars, along with 142 stages across 18 locations. The major downside, this game is not a looker. The visuals have been significantly scaled back for performance, and it somewhat dims, the spectacle of rally racing. Then it's single player locally, but online races support up to 8 players. Redout is for fans of futuristic races, especially if you're into games like Wipeout. This title takes you into the realm of anti-gravity racing, where the lack of realism paves the way for some wildly creative track designs. The career mode is a blast with over 100 events, and there's no shortage of variety either, with 60 tracks, 7 teams, and that totals 28 unique ships. It also spices things up with power-ups from repair kits to turbo boosts. It's also worth noting as well that the game demands lightning-fast reflexes and it can be brutally tough at times. Now, one downside here is the performance. It isn't always smooth, and lower resolutions can make it tricky to anticipate upcoming obstacles, leading to what I would consider some trial and error gameplay. Although there is a sequel on the Switch as well, that one fell short in performance, with some areas that I would consider nearly unplayable. Definitely a missed opportunity with Redout then was a lack of local multiplayer, but it does at least support up to 6 players online. Riptide GP Renegade takes a splash into the world of futuristic racing with a twist. It's all about high-speed aquatic action. Imagine Wave Race but amped up with stunts, a fade in the lore, and the backstory of a fallen league racer turned rogue. It does have a really good sense of progression when you first jump in, and that's because working through the career mode earns you cash to unlock new vehicles, characters, and upgrades that dramatically alter your rider's capabilities. The water effects are a standout feature here, then dynamically altering your racing line, and they're also adding, an extra layer of strategy. While it is a blast as well, I find it's best enjoyed in short bursts rather than marathon sessions. It's just not a game that demands hours of continuous play, but it's definitely perfect for quick adrenaline-fueled dives. It supports up to 4 players locally then, and 8 players online. Sega Ages Virtua Racing takes us back to the roots of retro racing, and for me this is a trip down memory lane to the games I grew up with. This title just epitomizes classic racing for me. It's all about nailing the best lap times in 5-lap races across 3 tracks of varying difficulty. Not surprisingly, given the game's age, it runs at a smooth 60 FPS, and they've even thrown in some modern touches too, like rankings, replays, a new beginner-friendly mode that eliminates crashes, and also motion controls. However, the main drawback is really its limited content, which might not sit well with everyone. This game definitely resonates more with those who have a nostalgia for the classic era of gaming. For party play especially, this game is a blast. It supports up to 8 players on a single system, plus there's even online support as well for up to 2 players. Road Redemption is a modern nod to the classic Road Rash, a franchise that's long been underappreciated. Now this game stands out not only for its gameplay, but also for featuring a story, one of only 2 I think on today's list. Now here, a crime lord has been assassinated, setting off a bounty hunt where you and numerous gangs are vying for the prize. The gameplay is intense with high-speed bike battles and a variety of weapons at your disposal. Now as you progress, you'll earn cash to upgrade your bike and arsenal, enhancing your ability. The game includes a range of combat moves like kicks, grabs and swings, and it's the only game on our list today to boast a mature rating. While it is evident that Road Redemption is a lower budget title and the performance honestly isn't flawless, the game overall is just simply great fun. Plus it offers a local 2-player co-op mode, sadly no online play, which I think would have been perfect given you would only need one other friend to own it. TT Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 2 revs up as my top pick for bike simulation on the Switch. I'm favouring the second installment for its stability. The third entry may be newer, but when precision is key, constant dips to 20 FPS just isn't viable, and this one manages a more consistent 30. Just be prepared with this one, it's by far the toughest game on our list today. Here you're going to be racing at breakneck speeds through narrow streets, aiming to conquer the world's most dangerous motorbike race. The journey involves competing in various championships, with a choice of 18 different motorbikes, official riders, and 17 tracks aside from the main event. The challenge is the frame rate can still wobble, the difficulty for many will be too steep, and even a minor misstep here can lead to a crash. Then visually, definitely again not the most stunning of titles, but I do think it captures the intensity of this sport very well. While it is a solo affair, then in local play, online supports up to 8 players, and if you do want something like Supercross, I'd say check out Monster Energy. If you want circuit-based, check out MotoGP. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer is undoubtedly a game that has a broader appeal than many today thanks to its connection to the Star Wars universe. Let's be honest, it's more fun playing this game than watching The Phantom Menace, though honestly doesn't take a lot. But here expect lightning fast pod racing with a lineup of 25 characters from the Star Wars saga, so think Anakin Skywalker and company. And then you're going to be speeding across 25 tracks set on 8 different worlds. What really stands out is how well the game nails that sense of speed, cruising as well as smoothly at 60 FPS. Upgrading your ship with pit droids adds a fun strategic layer to your racing experience as well. And then the major letdown for me was the absence of online play. Right now it offers 2-player local multiplayer, but the addition of online races would have propelled this game much higher on my list today. Still, for Star Wars fans and speed junkies alike, this race is a solid pick for some high-speed intergalactic competition. Hot Shot Racing is a vibrant arcade racer that really struck a chord with me at launch, running at a smooth 60 FPS. Its low poly art style is a nod to classics like virtual racing that I just couldn't resist. The game features 8 characters, each with their own unique ride, and it's all about hitting top speeds and pulling off drifts at every turn. There's 16 tracks to master then, and overall the game it is good fun. There's also this thrill of climbing online leaderboards, a feature that adds a competitive edge. However, content-wise it does fall a bit short. Despite a free update, the cups wrap up quickly, and while modes like Drive or Explode or Elimination are good fun, they're more of a quick diversion rather than something that will keep you coming back for long. Then for some as well, there's a lot of rubber banding, a common trait in arcade racers, and one I do expect. So I think if you overtake someone, don't expect to be lapping them, they'll catch up with you very quickly thanks to an artificial boost. I just see it as being part of this genre though. Then it supports 4 players locally and 8 players online. Descenders brings a fresh twist to our list, blurring the lines between genres as a unique roguelike racing game that, you don't see that combination very often. It almost missed the cut due to its distinct style, but its emphasis on career progression and best times in a downhill and mountain biking setting makes it a worthy inclusion. Now in this game, you're not just racing, you're also earning sponsorships and managing a team, all while navigating procedurally generated landscapes that ensure no 2 runs are the same. The physics are impressive and the sense of speed is incredible. Being a roguelike then, just be aware you crash too many times and it's all the way back to the beginning of your career. Then it's not without its flaws either. Visually it's just, well, simply put, ugly, and sometimes the procedural generation throws up layouts that are more frustrating than challenging. The soundtrack then, while I personally enjoy its drum and bass vibe, might feel a bit too niche, lacking variety to cater to wider tastes. Then it's single player locally and it supports up to 8 players online. Art of Rally is a serene departure from the high-octane titles on our list today. It's a game where, with a bit of practice, you can easily find yourself in a Zen-like state amidst its gameplay. The concept is straightforward, top-down racing across global stages, competing for the best times on leaderboards with both weekly and daily challenges. The game offers 72 stages and a ton of cars spanning various eras and groups, accompanied by a well-graduated difficulty curve. However, it's not without its shortcomings. As a time trial-centric game, it's basically not going to appeal to everyone, and there's no other kind of, core style of racing packed in here. Also, the visual downgrade on the Switch is evident too, with more frequent pop-in and less detailed shadow work compared to other platforms. Still, that said, the overall style is minimalistic and I do still think it is effective. Now, having played this on the Xbox, and I do notice and miss the smooth 60 FPS, which definitely complemented the flow of gameplay. On the Switch, it's hovering around 30 FPS and it isn't consistently stable. Additionally, it's a single player only experience. Sega Ages Outrun, another classic right here. It's only further down the list because I think you have to have nostalgia for the game to really appreciate it. Now, as these emulations do go, however, I do think this is one of the best from this series. They've added in things like new music, a ranking system, and motion controls, a really nice touch. I also think like the aforementioned virtual racing though, which I adore, as I said, it's another one that's light on content, but I do think it does more to keep single players here coming back. The object of the game here then, jump in a Ferrari and race towards a goal or checkpoints along this journey before a timer counts down. Then it is single player only. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 is as impressive as its predecessor, but with even more to offer. It comes from Milestone, a studio known for niche racers like MotoGP and Monster Energy Supercross, and this game is just a testament to their passion and dedication. It's clear they're not just leveraging the Hot Wheels name for an easy sell, they're genuinely pushing for something impressive. The campaign city map then is significantly larger than the original, and with 5 additional modes, the variety here is impressive. The roster of vehicles then is extensive and the controls, they are spot on. Speeding through creatively designed tracks and hitting those speed boosts, it is just simply great fun. Then the frame rate hovers around a stable 30 FPS, and the addition of new control options like jumping and dashing definitely adds a fresh twist. While it's not the most visually stunning game, then it could use more variety in its aesthetics, I still think it is a great pick. It supports 2 players locally and 12 online. Unfortunately, the game features crossplay on every system but the Switch, which is definitely disappointing. Also, this is another inclusion that does include a story mode. Circuit Superstars zooms onto our list as a top-down racer that skillfully merges simulation with arcade-style racing. Imagine the thrill of high speeds combined with the strategic depth of managing tyre wear, fuel consumption, and vehicle damage. It challenges you to dynamically strategize your pit stops, adding this extra layer of tactical play. The handling then is spot on. It feels great on the Switch, targeting a smooth 60 FPS, and although there are some minor fluctuations, I thought they did a great job with performance. Surprisingly then, this gem comes from Square Enix, yet it slipped under many radars upon release. While I do wish there were more tracks, there are 32 in total and a larger vehicle roster, 14 right now to choose from, Circuit Superstars still stands out for me as a top pick. Each car here just handles distinctly, showcasing the developer's commitment to this, level of detail. And for multiplayer fans, then it offers local play for up to 4 players, 12 players online, and I do think this one is definitely a hidden gem. Burnout Paradise Remastered on the Switch is a visual treat, running smoothly as well at 60 FPS. Now, the game's world, Paradise City, is a sprawling playground that any racing fan would dream of exploring, and that's before you even get to the included Big Surf DLC. You've also got a variety of events, stunt jumps to discover, and an impressive garage of over 130 vehicles at your disposal, ranging from the realistic to the outright wild. So why isn't this higher on my list today, you might ask? And it really boils down here to personal preference. I'm not the biggest fan of driving around maps to reach different events. In a game that's really all about speed and adrenaline, having to brake and stop at traffic lights to start events just feels a bit, counterintuitive. But look, don't get me wrong, the crashes are as spectacular as ever. The racing when you're in it is incredible as well, and for many, understandably, this title will rank much higher. Then it is single player locally, and it supports up to 8 players online. Rush Rally 3 is my top pick for a rally game on the Switch. This was a game I hadn't played until it was recommended in the comments on my last racing game list, and I gotta say, the community wasn't wrong. It delivers 60 FPS rally action that feels like a nod to classic 90s racing games. The game offers a robust experience with 72 tracks, varying surface types, real-time vehicle damage, an engaging career mode, and weekly events where you can compete on a curated set of tracks. You even have the option here to customize your car to your liking. While it may not offer the same level of difficulty as WRC, there's a certain charm to its controls that I wish I could merge with WRC's visuals. Then graphically, look, it's not gonna appeal to everyone. Its graphics have a retro charm that really worked for me. You know, I grew up on games like Colin McRae and Virtua Rally, but yeah, definitely gonna be subjective. For solo play, then, it is a single player experience, but the online leaderboards and the ability to download ghost cars for a bit of competition, it's definitely a nice touch to keep you coming back. Cruis'n Blast rockets onto our list as a standout arcade racer on the Switch. It's a game that lives up to its name, offering a wildly fun experience that I've enjoyed since its release and continue to frequently revisit. The tracks are a highlight, filled with elements like the London course, where the London Eye just breaks free and rolls through the streets. It's just moments like these that make this game memorable. My fondness for this game, in fact, even led me to spend about $10 playing it in an arcade recently, despite owning it on the Switch. With 30 tracks then, featuring explosions, jumps, and all sorts of mayhem, plus a garage of 23 cars, there's plenty of action here, plus it's all running at a smooth 60 FPS. While it may not be the most feature-rich title, its arcade spirit is just, in my opinion, irresistible. However, one lingering disappointment is the absence of online play. There was talk of them adding it a few years back, which definitely had me excited, but nothing has come of it since. And now, 2 years post-release, it seems unlikely it will materialize. It supports then up to 4 players locally. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit will be compared to Burnout Paradise Remastered, and that makes sense, the same team behind it. For me, this is a prime example of everything they've mastered over the years, you know, blistering speed, spectacular crashes, all running smoothly at 60 FPS. I'm a big fan of the police chases here as well, but where this one wins over for me over, Paradise is just the online crossplay support. That is a huge plus for any Switch owner because it's not exactly a system known for its bustling online racing communities. Additionally, the game allows for quicker navigation across the map, letting you skip the exploration aspect if that's not your cup of tea. Now then, as we do move up the list today, it's going to be harder to find faults with the featured games. The only real caveat with Need for Speed Hot Pursuit is don't expect deep customization options here. This game is more about the thrill of the chase than tweaking and personalizing your ride. It is single player locally then and supports 8 players online. Fast RMX is for those seeking a Wipeout style experience on the Switch. We mentioned Redout earlier, but this is going to be the better option. It features a lineup of 30 tracks, 15 vehicles, and this game is all about high-speed racing and mastering some seriously inventive tracks. A standout feature is the phase switching mechanic, basically sections of the track where you need to match colours to gain rewards, which is usually going to be a speed boost. It's a simple but effective concept that adds this extra layer of strategy to races, and yeah, then graphically Fast RMX impresses, boasting a crisp 60 FPS performance. It's a game that not only, looks great but feels smooth and responsive, and that's really all you can ask for. Then it supports up to 4 players in local split screen, 8 players in online races. There's even a bonus mode to unlock, adding to that replay value. Despite being released a few years ago then, Fast RMX remains a title I find myself returning to time and time again. Mantis Burn Racing, a top-down hidden gem from 2017, drives onto our list with an under-the-radar status that is underserved. It's been a while since it's been on a sale, and not since 2019, so stumbling upon it in the eShop now without prior knowledge is basically 0 to none, which is a real shame. This game is a personal favourite of mine, and in my opinion, for good reason. It's an arcade racer that nails the physics and offers a ton of content alongside that. Now at times I kind of get that Micro Machines vibe, never a bad thing, and the single player mode then spans 11 seasons with 150 events across 13 different event types, and as you do progress you'll have the opportunity to upgrade your car as well. It's just incredibly creative, featuring everything from traditional races to weapon-based defense. Plus it includes all previously released DLC. I presume the game was released on PC originally. And yeah, finally, one of the best aspects in my opinion, especially considering, its release year, is the crossplay support for up to 8 players online. And that's alongside then 4-player local split screen. I'm holding out hope here for a sale, and not because the game isn't worth its full price, it absolutely is, but because more people need to experience this one, and that's really the way to get more eyes on it. Not sure if it will happen though, seems the studio was acquired by Double 11. Horizon Chase Turbo races onto our list with an undeniable charm, drawing inspiration from classics like Outrun and Top Gear. There is so much to love about this game, from its visually appealing low-poly style to the expansive career mode that takes you on this global racing adventure. The gameplay strikes a perfect balance between being accessible for newcomers and offering depth for those looking to master its nuances. The soundtrack deserves a special mention too, adding to the overall, experience, and this game just has a lasting appeal for me. Even after completing the career mode, I find myself returning to it often, especially when friends are over, and that is thanks to its fantastic local 4-player support. The absence of online play is a bit of a letdown, as it would have elevated the game even further, and I also then highly recommend you get the Summer Vibes DLC for an added Summer Roads experience and new car skins, and also the Senna DLC, which brings a Formula 1 flavour with new cars, teams, and even a 5-chapter career mode. While there was a sequel then to Horizon Chase Turbo on the Switch, it fell short at launch. The inconsistent frame rate, a less appealing style, and overall it just didn't measure up to this original. Here's hoping that sequel gets fine-tuned, but as of now, the original Chase Turbo still reigns supreme. Grid Autosport was my top pick last time I did one of these videos, probably about 2 years ago now, but it remains a standout racing game on the Switch, even if an arcade racer has actually grabbed most of my attention this year. And that is rare, I want to say this, considering my preference normally leans towards simulation racing. An example, F1 is probably my favorite of all time, but it's a series we're still waiting to see on the Switch. This said though, Grid Autosport is an incredible game in many ways. It was one of the first, if not the very first, to introduce the concept of rewinding gameplay by a few seconds. Then it's got a great selection of modes, offering touring, endurance, tuner, open wheel and street racing. Selection of cars is impressive, ranging from sports to muscle cars. Visually it looks fantastic on the Switch, and its performance is consistently solid. And really the only minor drawback, of fault of the hardware not the game again, is the lack of analog triggers and the acceleration control impact that does have. They even went ahead and added online multiplayer to the mix, complementing the local 2-player support with the ability to race against up to 8 players online. For simulation racing fans, Grid Autosport is a must-own title, and I'd happily stand by that pick. So Wreckfest races to the top spot on my list, a title that genuinely surprised me with its addictive gameplay since its launch. The game has become a personal favourite thanks to its content and mostly silky smooth performance on the Switch. Wreckfest is essentially a modern day destruction derby, but it pushes the envelope further. So apart from think classic arenas, it's offering races on over the top tracks featuring loops or intersections that constantly challenge you. The career mode here is huge as well. What's truly incredible about Wreckfest though is its ability to continually surprise. The career mode, for example, starts you off with lawnmower racing, but soon you'll find yourself behind the wheels of sports cars, semi-trucks, buses, even engine-powered sofas. It is out there, and each vehicle type offers a unique and solid handling experience. As you do progress, you get the opportunity to upgrade these vehicles with new armor and modifications that do affect their performance. Now look, there's no local play, but online it supports up to 16 players, and the game's even seen several DLC releases since launch, including 2 vehicle packs which, well, you guessed it, add more vehicles. And yeah, Wreckfest is a standout choice for anyone who loves a good blend of racing and destruction, because I think it absolutely succeeds in both senses. And that brings us to the end of our journey through my top 25 racing games on the Switch beyond the usual kart racers and free-to-play titles. Crafting this video was a lot of fun, and we have plenty more coming just like it very soon. If you did enjoy this deep dive into the world of Switch racing games, consider subscribing to the channel. Your support means a lot and it helps us continue to bring you content just like this. Also, if you know a race fan, consider sharing this video with them. Obviously, it helps out the channel a huge amount. Now, if you do want to watch something else like this, why not look to our 30 top first-person shooters list next? Or maybe even our best anime games on the Switch. That one's definitely a personal favourite of mine. Thanks again everyone, and I'll see you all on the next video.